Well, that's the thing with the throat chakra. We have the right to speak the truth and we have the right to hear it. And when we're growing up, and for the most part when we're really little, our throat chakra is there, but it hasn't quite developed yet until just before we turn 10. And if we have to hold a secret, it's very interesting because for a lot of us, we also hold our breath. And if we've ever been in trouble for either telling the truth or expressing something that wasn't synonymous with either a caregiver or parent's truth, and we've gotten into trouble, we're very reluctant to actually express ourselves. And when we have to keep a secret, we don't just have to keep a secret once, we have to continue keeping a secret. And so that brings into the equation mixed messages and even little lies. But what it does is it stops the natural flow of conversation and being spontaneous, which really impacts our ability to express ourselves, especially if we're always holding back for fear of, oh my God, I'm going to be wrong, or I'm going to get into trouble, or last time I spoke up, all hell broke loose in my family, so I've learned not to. And it's a pattern that's so ingrained and it's so continuous in our adolescence and then adulthood that it's not so easy to break, is it?
Yeah, it takes work. Like, it's daily practice for me I find writing helps, write it down as well.
Well, that's a form of expression, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
But just going back to how we kind of hold it in and we stop breathing, for me, I remember I used to my whole body would tense up and I would have digestive issues because I would tense up my abdomen and that would clench all the nerves down there. And yeah, it's a big one.
It's a huge one.
And then I think I've also had really positive people around me, I guess. And gosh, my family has been incredible, and God knows we verbalize things as well. But one family in particular that I've been around, actually one of my best friends, her family is of Italian. They're of Italian descent, and they've still got that kind of fiery communication and style. And I used to just be so taken aback at a dinner table when they would just be at home and they would just be like, something would come up and it would be all on. But I'm like, at first, that is so unusual for me because my family was smaller and quieter.
Yeah.
It's so healthy. It's so healthy.
Yes.
It's like, at least it's out now.
Yes. Yes. I love it. Because that's the thing, when you're balanced in your throat chakra, in this energy center, you have no problem expressing yourself and your truth. And the thing about a balanced throat chakra is that there's that sense of a mindful silence of, hey, someone needs to hear this, but now might not be the right time for me to tell them this. There's that mindfulness. And when we're balanced, we don't actually need to use a lot of words to express ourselves. It just comes naturally. We don't have to over-explain. We don't have to yell. We speak with a nice resonant voice. And, of course, when we're deficient, there's the other type of silence, which is, well, there's no point in expressing myself because no one is going to listen anyway, or no one cares, or no one validates me. And then, of course, when we're expressive, we yell or we rant incessantly at people. And for me personally, I know that you and I are both the youngest children in our family, and my brother's nearly 10 years older than I am, and it's just the two of us. And in my extended family, all of my cousins are a lot older than me as well. So I'm really the youngest in my big fat Greek family. And this was my greatest chakra to heal. And when you teach yoga, as you and I do, you know so much information that to be able to condense it in a way that's going to be sustainable for a class to integrate within an hour or an hour and a half is quite a skill. And to be able to use the resonance that you need without feeling like your throat sore at the end, it's like an acquired learning, isn't it? And so it was really big for me to be able to go from being deficient to coming into my sense of balance, because I feel that I wasn't ever heard in my family, because by the time I came along, they were all loud and raucous, and there was no conscious communication in our flow, which is ironic because many of my cousins would say it's gone the opposite extreme. because when we get together at Christmas, there's yelling and there's covering of people's mouths and yelling across the table, and many of my family members would probably admit that I'm probably the worst offender these days. And I really had to learn to not over-explain, which is a deficient characteristic, because I feared that someone either wouldn't get me or I'd speak really quickly for fear that I'd get interrupted. But of course, I'd manifest that into my life with either a boss or a partner or a friend that would do that because I'd set it up with that expectation. Mm-hmm. Has this ever happened for you in reference to you finding your voice?
I think that, you know, we talked before about, you know, being a yoga teacher and having people around the studio quite often coming up to you after class or before class and wanting to have those really kind of long chats and get everything out all at once. And, you know, I love that. I love that. That's one of the best parts I feel about my job, is that I get to connect with these people all of the time. But, you know, there gets a point where you can't give that energy to every single person. Does that make sense? Is that sort of...
Totally. Because learning to contain it so that you can still validate someone and not be inauthentic, but still be able to hold your own space, right?
Yes, that is one thing that I really want to be able to achieve, is have a really close connection with every person that walks into this room. That doesn't mean that every person that walks in the room, we're going to be best friends and we're going to hang out on a Saturday night on the couch in our pajamas drinking red wine. It just means that when I'm with that person, we're present, we're connected. Because that is, in essence, what yoga is, right?
Absolutely.
You know, I always say some of the most authentic yogis that I've ever known have never taken a yoga class in their life. They've never made a yoga shape in their life. But when you're with them, they're connected to you. They're connected. They're completely present. That is a yogi to me. So, just to have that connection and not feel like I'm giving too much or too little.
Yes.